everybody. It's the Boxing Freaks. On April 14th, we were supposed to have a fight between Terrance Crawford. He was set to take on Jeff Horn for Jeff Horn's WBO welterweight title, the title in which he won against Manny Pacquiao in July of last year. So the news came out today that the fight has actually been delayed due to a hand injury that Crawford sustained during his training while sparring. Now, it seems that the fight has been delayed until May 19th or possibly early June, and the official date is not yet finalized. So I want to let me ask you, with your expertise on sports injuries, how severe of an injury is this? And since the fight is only being talked about pushed back a month, possibly a month and a half, is it safe to say that this won't have a profound effect on Crawford? How exactly do you expect his recovery to go?
Well, given the timetable, the fight was supposed to take place on the 14th, and they're talking about maybe fighting on the 19th, which I believe there is another fight, a pretty big fight happening on the 19th or early June. They're talking about pushing the fight back basically 5 to maybe 7-8 weeks. So it depends on the type of injury. Probably he has either a minor fracture of his hand or a sprain. It's hard to say which it is because they have not disclosed the injury as of yet. So given that 5 maybe to 7-8 week window, which is basically, just over a month, possibly 2 months, you're probably looking at a decent sprain of the hand or a mild fracture of the hand. And
now,
the issue is that he's basically going to be off now from training. So the fight was supposed to happen on April 14th. Here we are, I believe right now it's March 14th. So we're a month out. He's still supposed to be in training. He's basically sparring. He's really into the downswing of camp in terms of honing in on things that they probably want to do in the fight. And at this point, he can't do that. So either he's already basically ready. If they're saying that he can fight on the 19th, which is, just under 5 weeks from now, probably you're talking about a sprain. You're talking about a sprain. If they're saying June, who knows? They I don't think right now they know for sure what is going on. A lot of times,
well, that's the thing.
Professional.
Well, that's the thing. As we know, especially in boxing, the news doesn't always come out accurately, especially at first. So you said it's likely a sprain given the quick time return, the turnaround. But let me ask you this now. Let's say it is a mild fracture, right? Let's say it is a mild fracture. Obviously, the full injury is not disclosed yet. Is there anything that we should be looking at in particular? Let's say you're a Terrance Crawford fan or a fan of boxing, and the actual injury comes out, and it's your first time looking at the injury. You've never heard of this. Is there any particular worse type of fracture that he could have in that hand that could possibly have more lingering effects?
Yeah, not really. Typically, when you fracture a bone in the hand, for example, you talk about what they classically call a boxer's fracture. That's a fracture of what we call the fifth metacarpal of of either hand, and that's that long bone you can feel on the back of your hand extending to your knuckle,
right,
between your wrist and your knuckle. And really we can refer to that as either the fourth or the fifth bone. They're pretty much the same kind of fracture. They usually happen the same way. You end up landing a blow with one of those with that part of with one of those two knuckles on that side of the hand, and those bones are generally weaker than the bones of the forefinger and the middle finger. So you fracture those, you're talking about maybe a 4-week healing, but you don't want to just get back out there and start punching again. So if they're talking about almost a 4-week turnaround, I don't think it's a bad fracture. It might be a hairline fracture or a sprain. Right. Now, if they're talking about June, they're probably really waiting to see what X-rays and MRI, if he gets an MRI, show. A lot of professional athletes get MRIs to see, what's actually going on with either the muscles or the ligaments, sometimes the bones. So, they're going to wait to find out what the definitive imaging shows. So we're just going to have to wait to see what comes out of his camp, what information they give us. The other problem is that, he's classically a southpaw, even though he can fight both ways. If he injured his right hand, the hand he does the most work with, he could be out longer. If it's his left, he might come back sooner. So it also depends on how his body responds to injuries. Some people recover faster than others. I've never heard of him having a major injury in camp, so we'll just have to see. And that's it.
All right, so there you have it, folks. Once again, the Terrance Crawford WBO welterweight title fight. It was his first attempt at a welterweight championship, moving up to 147 pounds. It has been delayed, temporarily postponed until, at the very least, May 19th is what they're talking about, possibly June. As you heard right there, it doesn't seem like it should be too serious. And hopefully Terrance Crawford will be ready to go on May 19th or early June.